Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We are so thrilled to have you back for another fabulous episode of the Mallorca Connection here at USA Global TV and Radio. If you're joining us for the first time, you're in for quite a treat because the star of our show is going to share his knowledge and extensive expertise in working with men and supporting men's work across the world. The star of our show is Mr. Roland-Friedl. He gave up being attached to a home and to a specific type of lifestyle that many of us are accustomed to, and he decided to go out onto a wireless life that rocks from his incredible mobile home as he travels through Europe. He is a entrepreneur, a coach, a mentor, soon to be an author, and also someone who really is very passionate about helping men express their emotions and be the best version of what they can be. So today we're going to talk about lost in transition, why so many young men are struggling. Welcome to the program, Mr. Roland-Friedl. Hello, hello.
Hello, jacalyn. Great to see you again. You look amazing, by the way.
Oh, thank you so much. You look great yourself. And we just had a fabulous episode right before this about meat. And now we're going to be talking about lost in transition. So, Roland, for people who are joining us for the first time, there's always some new people here watching or listening. What is it about men's work helping men that has enabled you to be so passionate and committed to doing this work for so long?
Well, first of all, I'm a man by myself, obviously. And I found out that I had a fabulous life, you know. I really built up some companies, had a lot of success and a lot of material stuff, but I was not really, I would say, 100% happy. I had a lot of fun. Yeah, I was partying, having fun. I was consuming. Yeah, but I wasn't 100% happy. And I found out after a while, actually, thanks to my ex-girlfriend who was a mirror to me. And I said, I had really issues to express my emotions. First of all, to be aware about my emotions, to express my emotions and communicate them. And I was so, because what happened to me in my childhood, I learned to not show my emotions or even show opposite of emotion, meaning when I really was very sad, I was smiling, and when I was happy, I was looking like a psychopath. So I was always showing a different, a total opposite emotion. And this brought many advantages for me. When you don't show emotion, when you don't connect yourself, and you don't feel yourself, nobody can hurt you. Especially when you're in business, when somebody says no to you, you don't care, you just go to the next person. So it has some advantages, and I was very proud of it. But I found out, as I didn't have any more access to my so-called negative emotion, or emotions that don't feel good. No emotion is negative, because every emotion has a meaning, giving you feedback. But this so-called not feeling good emotions, I also didn't have any access to my feeling good emotion, about really being happy and joyful and stuff like that. And this was for me an eye-opener, a game changer. And I was working at that, and learning was a really hard way, to be honest. First of all, to feel my emotions and to express my emotions, letting emotions getting out all this anger, this sadness and stuff like that. And it was a very healing way for me. It changed my life totally. And yeah, so I went to men's group, I joined men's festival, stuff like that. We had this amazing men's show on usaglobaltv and radio for 1 year, 50 amazing shows with 7 men from different countries and religious background. And so I found out, okay, let's do something about that and support other men and speak about my own experience and my way. And I started a few years ago. It's funny, by the way, and it's still on since many years. I started a U.S. American men's group. Actually, it's not a U.S. men's group anymore. Well, it's still there. People from the U.S. are still joining, but we also have some others, English-speaking guys. A guy from Holland, from the Netherlands. There's a guy from Poland joining. So we meet still twice a month, every first and every third Saturday. We meet online and we share about things, and we work on different things, on the archetypes, on the king, the warrior, the lover, the musicians. And so, yeah, I came into this because I really benefited from it. Absolutely, I absolutely benefited from reading all these books and joining all these workshops. And I want to give something back to society. And I strongly believe in these hard times we are having right now, economically, climate change-wise and everything, we need strong men, not weak men, because we are governed by weak men. We need really strong men. And that's my mission, and my vision on that is bringing men back into their masculinity. That's my way, because when we can discuss it later, nowadays everybody's talking about toxic masculinity, about narcissism and stuff like that, and it's not all black or white. There's something in between.
Excellent points as always. Thank you. Now, I do know you and I are a similar age. I'm, of course, a little older, but the way that we were raised may be different than how young people are being raised today. And from the people I know who have children, what I've seen and heard is that there's a lot more of let's be friends. Let's be friends with our kids. Let's give everyone a trophy. Let's congratulate everyone. What impact, if any, do you feel that this has on a man's self-esteem?
Yeah, absolutely. There are many courses or what's going on in the world. When I look back in my childhood, there was no internet, there was no social media. We had so-called real friends from the neighborhood where we went out in the forest. We had a lot of fun together. Of course, we also had fights together. Sometimes we hurt each other. We had a blue eye or even a broken arm or bleeding somewhere. But this is normal. So we really could live or bring alive our masculine energy. Because, to be honest, my dad was not very present because he was working all day. So I was around. My mom was here. I went to kindergarten. So there was a female kindergarten lady taking care about us. When I went to school, there was a female teacher, so there was a lot of female energy around. What I still see today, because we have also a lot of single moms, and there's not male masculinity. But in my time, it was not so bad because I had a lot of male friends, and we really could fight and get rid of all this energy. What I see nowadays with the kids is most of them don't really have a present father. By the way, I'm writing a book at the moment. It's called The Non-Present Dad, that's coming out next year. And so a lot of kids don't have a real dad. Sometimes they don't know them, or kids are divorced, or the dad is still living with them, but is emotionally not available because he's so, I don't know, focused on work, or have his own demons and fights. And these boys, raising up in a very feminine energy. What is not bad in general, but what is missing is the balance between the feminine. Let's call it the feminine and the masculine energy. And these boys grow up in a different environment with a different impact of too much feminine energy. And then these boys are not really secure about themselves. They don't know. They don't have a role model. How to become a man, how to become a father later. There's no, many years ago in the tribes we have this so-called initiations. So when you're a girl in the age between 11 and 13, the girls are around you have been initiated by the older woman. And the same with the boys. You have been in, and still some tribes do it. When I was living in the Maasai, that they still do it. With the Maasai, you get a spear and you go out and you hunt a lion. That's still what you do. that's your exam to become a man. We can discuss if it makes sense or not in nowadays, but there was an initiation, or in some tribes, I know from the Amazon, you go in the jungle for 4 days and you meditate there, and you face this fears that you're having, by surrounding, being in the wild with these animals, stuff like that, and all this noise, especially when it's dark. So we don't have these initiations anymore, and we don't have these role models to become a man. And actually, a dear friend of mine, Dr. Rubin Bernstein, he was writing a book. He's an Australian guy, and he was writing a book, The Making of Man. And he said, okay, we have to bring this back, because the most important step from a young man is from when he in the age between 12 or 14, becoming a teenager, when all those hormones are changing, when the hairs are growing, the beard is growing, all this stuff. And this is a tremendous change in a man's body. You have a lot of energy, but you cannot get rid of it because you're sitting in school, you're sitting in front of a computer. And then there's just no wonder that these guys, when they're 16 in the US or 18 here in Europe, they get in their first car, and what they try on top speed, and then they make accidents because they have to expand their boundaries, and they have to try it out and be masculine and stuff like that. And we didn't that in our young. Okay, we also driving faster, but we could get rid of our energy, our masculinity with our streets fight that we had with our friends and our gangs and stuff like that. That's missing a little bit, because most of the guys are sitting in front of computer games. They make so-called friends on social media, not real friends where they can real talk. It's more about, hi, I'm eating this, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'm not talking about really what's inside. But there are many courses why men are struggling. But and the other thing is, what I mentioned is, and then we can discuss its topic if you want, jacalyn, is that most of these young men, they're not really driven. They don't have a goals. They don't have a vision. I always hear, especially young girls, my boyfriend, he's just, he's here, he's going to university, he's working, but he's not mission driven. There's no direction, stuff like that. We just do it because to make some money, to have some fun, but they're not. There's no direction, and that's what's missing. And as a man, if you don't have a vision and setting goals, because it's a masculine energy, that's why we have a penis, to go into the world, and the feminine energy from our mom is here, to make everything safe. To feel comfortable, to be protected, have a warm house, to get food, and also the feminine energy from our mom is said to encourage our creativity, communicating, art, and all this stuff. And the man's energy is the masculine energy is there to bring us away from the house, to get us into the world, because we cannot stay forever at our mama's priest and stay until 30, 40, 50, like some people do, living with her mom. We have to go out in the world. And this is a masculine energy. So the man in the house should show a young man to get out in the world. To travel, maybe travel together, spend weekends together, or do stuff together, maybe to go to sports events, or go on a hike or on a camping site or whatever. This is the male energy that is needed, and most boys don't have it nowadays.
I love the way you summed that up. That was really brilliant. What impact, if any, do you think that the change in typical gender roles that you and I experienced growing up, the man does this, the woman does that, and now it's more both people are doing this, they, instead of it being just your job or my job, it's being split. So those traditional masculine roles that we were used to seeing, they've changed. I could use the word evolved. I don't know if that's the right word, but how do you think this has impacted young men?
Yeah, also a lot, because as young men, they're insecure. They don't know what is expected from me now. Yeah, especially when they're growing older, they get into with a girlfriend, or maybe they marry and become a father, a husband and a father. And young men are doing everything, taking care about the household, cooking, washing. I said this is not bad, but they're they're losing the masculine energy. They get more and more in their female energy, more and more. And what's happening is what I see from the ladies, from the women who go, they get more and more in the masculine energy. As I said in the beginning, because these boys are not driven anymore, they don't have goals, they don't have direction. So these young ladies, they're successful in business, yeah, where they bring out more masculine energy because there's a lot of competition out of the market, and then they come home to their boyfriend or husband or whatever, and this guy is not in this masculine energy, and then she's not getting out of because this guy is too much in the feminine energy, and she stays in the masculine energy. And what's happening at the end is a lot of frustration. She's frustrated because he doesn't have a real man at home. He's frustrated because he doesn't have a female woman at home. And that's what I see. It was funny because a very good friend of mine, he contacted me, and we had him once on the show, and he said, can you help me? Because my daughter, she's actually, by the way, she's the first one who has a passport in the US in the family, and she's going to Europe. She's 18 now on a Europe trip, see some nice spots in Europe, and she together with her boyfriend. And I was interesting because she was organizing everything. I get a boyfriend who is older than her, and I was like, who organized it? Why is always she? I said, it's all about her. It's all about her. She's organized everything, because he has no fucking idea how to organize a trip. And I said, oh, it's a pussy. And he said, yeah, he's a pussy. Man, he's a nice guy, but he's a pussy. Yeah, and that's what I see. That a lot of golfers say, my boyfriend is a pussy. I have to organize everything. When we go on a weekend, I pack everything. I do everything. I don't only pack my stuff. I pack his stuff too, and things like that. And then I see a lot of men in their 30s or in their 40s on the weekends that they see their mom, not about seeing their mom. Mom is cooking, then they bring the dirty clothes, and mom is still washing or stuff like that. So there was never ever a break in between. I wouldn't say in the relationship, but getting out of the house totally and being fully independent. And that's what I see in the world. This is absolutely not healthy. That's frustrating for the man. It's frustrating for the girls, for their wives, but it's very difficult for them to get out, because they strongly believe that society expecting that you're more feminine, you're doing this and doing that. Because, as I said in the beginning, there's a lot of going around in the mass media, a lot of toxic masculinity and shit like that. But of course there's toxic masculinity, but not everything that is masculine is toxic. Yeah, that's one thing. So. Yeah, it's really difficult for nowadays men, because there's a lot of pressure from society. What you also said is everybody can do the same. And to be honest, I don't say that women have to stay at home in the kitchen. Not at all. If a girl wants to do a job, goes to university, makes a career as a lawyer, as a medical doctor, as a business lady, yeah. Or maybe I don't know, she loves to repair cars or whatever. It's pretty fine. This is absolutely okay. Absolutely. But what I see is, and what I always tell this ladies when the men's coming to me complaining what's going on. Sometimes I have the chance to talk to these girls, and I say, hey, whatever you do in a job, that's pretty cool. Do it. If you're satisfied, do it. Do it because you love it, and don't do it because you have to prove somebody something that you can do the same like a man. That doesn't make any sense. Do it because you love it. But when you go home, leave balls outside the door. Don't be bossy when you come home, because then there's no space for your partner to go in this masculine energy. It's not working, because otherwise you're fighting all the time. So there's a lot of work that we have to do from the men's side, but also from the women's side. And that's why I'm very into support this man, especially young men, because they don't have any orientation. As I said in the beginning, they don't have any role models at the time. Yeah, there are so-called influencers out there, but there's not really role models. We all know this.
I think it's really fascinating what you just shared. And what's coming up for me is, where's that fine line between leaving your balls outside and also having the ability to set a boundary so that you don't become so much of just, oh, yes, 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 a pleaser, right? Somebody who is so humble that then people walk all over them. That's a tough one,
Mhm.
isn't it?
It's absolutely. And it was interesting. I had a discussion today with a very good friend of mine. We talked about women who are successful in business. And what we see is when they're really successful in business, there's a lot of competition. And what women believe is that they have to work harder than men instead of using their feminine energy, what is very important, like opening a conversation, being creative, stuff like that. Yeah, they go more in a masculine energy to survive in this masculine world, for sure. But what's happening is, if you want to go in this masculine energy, in this just masculine energy, what you have to do is you have to close your heart. That's the point. You go more in your mind. You go away from your heart. You go more into your mind. And that's what happening. And the longer you do this, the longer you close your heart to stay so tough and strong and masculine, it's difficult to come back. So for these ladies, it takes. I know a lot of coaches who coaches very successful business ladies who was, hey, I want to have to back the juice in my relationship. I want to have intimacy again, sex life, and all like that. It's very hard to get back to them because they closed their heart totally in the job, and it's difficult for them when they go home. They open it again. It's not working for them. It's not working for them. And
Yeah.
if the man is also in the feminine energy, and then she's fed up with him, and then she gives him a direction like she does as a boss in the job, it's difficult for her to open her heart again. It's a really long process. For some, it takes months or years to bring this process the other way around. It's really difficult. We have to understand that.
I'm in agreement because I feel like I'm in that camp. That's me. My heart has it's closed off because I'm in my masculine energy so much, and because I am alone, I'm not seeing anyone, that I need to get things done. I'm always looking for solutions. And the one thing that I've learned from teaching people how to listen at an elevated level is, when we get so emotional, we're no longer able to listen at a very high level. And so I've actually taken that to heart, literally, and closed it off somewhat so that I can be an expert when it comes to listening. And then I can also run my businesses and get things done. Now, if I was in a relationship, I think I would definitely have to reevaluate that and change that, because I think in some way it's attractive and in other ways it's annoying.
Yeah. I mean, I know couples where he's standing at home and doing all this cooking and looking for the kids. If he's happy with this role and she's happy, why not? Who has to sort of always the man has to bring the money home? Why not the woman? Why not? I'm open for that. Is as long as both are happy. But most of the time it's not. It's not. So we have to bring this in balance again.
Yeah, it's a great point.
We have to bring this in balance again.
What I just wanted to mention is, when the dynamics are off, like the example that we just talked about with me, and there are children who are observing this, it has a major impact on them as well. Mommy's doing this, daddy's doing that, or, it could be two mommies or two daddies or whatever the situation is, and the kids are seeing this.
Yeah, and they copy it. The kids do what they see, not what you tell them. And then the girl, this young girl thinks, okay, that's the way how it works. That's how my mom is doing. And the interesting thing is, women see men like her mom was seeing her dad.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
It's very true. And then you typically go out and look for a partner who has those same kinds of attributes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So in the work that you've done, because I know you've worked with men all over the world, I know you at least had, I don't know if you still have, a group of men in the States as well as other places. Are you hearing some common themes from the men? Now we're talking about young men today, but as examples, older men, are you hearing some common themes regardless of where men live, that they don't feel as confident as they used to? Maybe they feel a little lost and they're looking for some guidance?
Yeah, absolutely. Older men too, older men too. But older men have other problems. What I see is very young men have problems to meet a girl and to talk to one. I don't know if the figures in the US, but there was a study in Europe. No, that's not true. In the German-speaking countries, the German-speaking 100 million people in the German-speaking countries, 18% of young men are 30 years old, or 30 years old, 18% never had sex. Never, 18%. So
Wow.
almost every fifth guy being 30 years old, we don't say 15, 20, 30 years old. So what young men have is they're so insecure, they're so scared about strong women, they're really scared to go in a bar and just talk to them. What I did as a kid, I just went there because what I learned is if I don't ask, it's 100% no. If I ask, it's a 50-50. And when she says no, go to the next one. Yeah, for us, it was normal, you know. So they're so scared about getting a no. They're so scared what other people thinking around because it's all about, you know, social media looking shiny, everything. So that most of the young men have really problems to meet a girl and once they meet one, to behave normally. They're so fucking nervous to behave normally. So that the girl is really attracted. So I do coaching like the first one is sexual attraction, and the second one is magical dates, and the third one is cosmic sex. But it all starts with sexual attraction. What do you have to do as a man to be sexually attractive to a woman? And it's not about the money you're making. It's not about the car you're driving or the fancy clothes you're having. It's about, are you a man? Meaning, are you really, can you hold the space? Really hold the space for the woman? And I always tell these guys, and I say to them, when they think, what is about dating? I said, dating is like dancing. You're just taking care that she can dance. As a man, as a dancer, you don't have many steps to do, many figures as a man. You just take care that she's not bumping against someone. You're taking care about the space. You hold the space. You do only a few steps, but it's not about you. You only do a few steps in the rhythm, but it's her who does all these figures and dancing around. And that's how you date, and that's how when they talk about cosmic sex, it's the same topic. But no, young men don't have any idea, because there's another thing that steps in, is this porn industry. So they believe that it's all about it. They believe that's how young women expect us to perform as a man. Well, that's absolutely bullshit. Yeah, it's not working. So there's a lot of pressure of this young man. First of all, to talk to women, to approach them, because they never learned it. They're so scared about getting a no. And the second thing is that there's a kind of performance pressure on them because of the porn industry, because they don't have a real picture about how making love, or how having cosmic sex with a female being. That's the young men. And the older men have other problems. They think, oh my gosh, I was trained and educated. It's all about performing. I only will be seen, laughed, and acknowledged when I performed. Now in my 40s and my 50s, I have a nice house. I have 2 free cars. I have amazing vacations. I don't know, whatever I have, but I feel empty inside. And that's the older men that, especially, during the pandemic, where everybody was sitting at home, not having the chance to be distracted by, I don't know, sailing, playing golf, going to the gym, because you have to sit at home. When you sit at home, you're just with yourself, and maybe your partner, kids. So a lot of men, older men, started thinking about their life. Oh my gosh, I'm in a one-way road. Where the fuck is the exit? I'm not happy. I want to do something different. So they have different issues to deal with.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for commenting on that. So once you're a parent and you have a child, the child is born, what are some things that you can do to give them basic behaviors and patterns that are really healthy? One thing that I read, and I know I have family members who do this, is they eat the way you do. Everything is clean, and the children eat clean food. They don't eat, there's no baby food, there's no sugar, and even the dog eats the same food that they eat. It's really kind of interesting. So to me, that's a habit that is really worthwhile. I don't know if that impacts a person's ability to have confidence or not. Obviously, if you're eating a lot of sugar, you might have high highs and low lows. But what are some other things that parents can do from the get-go?
Okay, well, as you mentioned, nutrition is very important. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a very important thing. Especially, this high sugar is not good because the kids are not focused. They cannot sit because, sugar is like cocaine. You go crazy on that. And I experience it because I don't have a lot of sugar, but sometimes it happens to me. I don't know why the heck. When I go to the supermarket to buy some, I don't know, bottled water or something, then I buy some chocolate, and then I eat all the chocolate, and I'm not used to it, and I get a sugar flash. It's like being on cocaine here. I cannot sleep. I'm nervous and stuff like that. So this happens to the kids every day because they have this high sugar breakfast. That's one thing. What I also see is with all this vegan stuff that's coming up and is pushed. I don't know if you make the same experience observations in the US. What we see here in Europe is because a lot of people are eating soy products and drinking soy milk and all this. Is it in a kind of way healthy for women because it has, especially women who get into the menopause, it's supporting them because there's a lot of phytoestrogens, natural phytoestrogens in soy, which is helping them for their hormones. But this is very counterproductive for a young man. Young man getting a phytoestrogen, the testosterone is going down, 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 down. What you see in the gaining weight, sometimes in their cups, what do you call it? The cups, their breast cups are larger than the girls in the same age. And this comes from soy products, from the phytoestrogen. They're very, very bad. And I see a lot of especially young women who are into this woke vegan religion or whatever you want to call this, and then all the soy products, and it's not good for young boys. It's the hell for them. It brings down the testosterone totally. It kills the testosterone level, and they're growing tits. They're getting what do you call it in English? Tits, boobs, whatever. Well, you know what I mean. So nutrition is very important. We have to take care about this also, what has an impact on for boys. Especially what I see with young men too, because a lot of young men in this woke culture eating vegan, not meat, not red meat, because they believe it's not bad. We had the show before, by the way, and having a lot of soy products. That testosterone is going down, 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 down. So their life force and their sexual force, life force and sexual, the life energy and sexual energy, the same one. It's the same. It's one thing. It's driven by testosterone. It's going down, 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 down. So they have no need for sex. Even when they have sex, they cannot perform. And don't misunderstand. I don't talk about the performance like in the porn industry. So they don't have sex. There's no sex life. They're not sex driven because they have no testosterone. And that's what I said in the beginning is they have no life force because it's the same. The sexual energy is the life energy. Sorry. So that's why they don't have any directional goals because the testosterone is low. Yeah. So the low testosterone has an impact on your sex life, on your love life, but it also has on your business life because you're not driven. You're not driven by life force. And when you're not driven by life force, you're not setting goals. You just try to survive from day to day. That's what I see especially with the young men.
Yeah, absolutely. We do have a comment from Saf Buxy. One love, Roland. Very nice.
Thanks, Saf.
So, Roland, you've hit on a lot of really key points. Something I'd like us to turn to now as we're coming to the last part of the show is when we learn things as a baby, as a child, they're good behaviors. We don't have to unlearn them. So people who have grown up maybe in environments that were not that healthy and now they're questioning themselves. And sometimes there is this loathing. You loathe yourself. You don't like yourself because you realize that you're not the man that you want to be. And I think that can get in the way of finding constructive ways to get to where you want to go. So there's that mental health component of it also in terms of changing behavior. So how does the work that you do have an impact on getting someone to a place of positive mental health?
Oh, there are different steps. So when I work with men, I always in the beginning ask a lot of questions to get an overview about how they eat, how they live, how they sleep, how they love, how they work, stuff like that. So I really do a holistic approach to understand every aspect of their life. And what I always do first with men is, men are very thinkers. They're much more in the head and the brain, not in the heart, as we said before. So it doesn't make sense for them in the beginning just to talk about their stuff, and when we do talks, like girls can handle their issues by talking. For men, it's not working, so that because they're getting again into their brain, and not into their emotions, into their heart. So what I always love to do with them, and all of my colleagues do, who do the same good work, is we bring them in motion. Yeah, we move around. We fight, we jump, we dance, whatever. So we bring them in motion to get, first of all, to get this energy. This is really suppressed into them. You get this anger and this thing. So they learn to express their emotions. Most of there's a lot of anger there inside, or sadness. They only can bring it out when they move. Yeah, that's why we use, I don't know, the dynamic meditations by Osho. I don't know if you heard about Osho. Dynamic meditation, you don't sit around, you really jump, shout, cry, get out of the rest. So there are some techniques that are very helpful for men. So we bring them in motions, and in the word emotion is the word motion. So they have to move around, so they can really have access to their emotions. They have to feel themselves again. Most men are not connected with themselves. They don't feel themselves. Yeah. So we have to bring them back, that they feel themselves. They try to sweat and stuff like that. That's one thing we do. Then we talk about nutrition, because I know, as I mentioned at the beginning, nutrition has a huge impact on your emotions, and as I said, on the testosterone and your life and sex energy. So we do different aspects of different forms. And then I always ask them 3 questions. If there's a trauma, they always ask you 3 questions. Are you wanted from your parents, for both of them? Are you really wanted? Have you been loved? And have you been safe? That's the 3 main questions when we talk about trauma work with people. So are your kids because your parents want to have kids? Did they plan it? Or when it happened, have you been welcomed or not? And have you been loved? And have you been safe? That's very, very important. And I think from also, I shared my story with you, and then also in one of my books, I didn't have a very good childhood. I experienced 8 years of really heavy sexual abuse. Over 8 years, it was quite a long time. But to come back to your question, also, for me, it had a kind of negative impact. Yeah, because as I said, I shut down my heart. I shut down my emotions. I had a focus on business. I would focus on success. As I said in the beginning, with the negative impact, that I didn't have any more access to my feel-good emotions, what I had to learn back. But I for myself, I never went in a victim's role like that. So I never was addicted to drugs or alcohol or food or whatever. Never ever. So I never felt like a victim. But everybody is dealing differently with these challenges. Absolutely. But yeah, I'm not a therapist in a narrow sense, but I know from my own experience, and I've just listened to them. I ask a few questions and just listen to them. And what I also do is, my colleagues, is what we found out that is very healing and supportive for men is, once they trust us, we bring them into a group of men. Because from my own experience, it was such a game changer and eye-opening when I first joined a men's group. Just not talking, just listening. And when I heard other men talking about their feelings, their emotion, their concerns, their anxieties and stuff like that, I had the first time I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not the only loser. Because outside I was a very successful businessman, but inside I always felt, no, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not working hard enough, stuff like that. And for me, the healing started when I just listening to other men. And then, I got more trust and confidence. I felt more safe in this group with other men, because I was sexually abused by men, so I didn't trust men in the beginning. And when I built up trust and I felt safe in this safe space, I opened up myself and I told my own story. And then it was the next wave of healing to talk about it, and then starting to work on my issues and my challenges and stuff like that. So this was my way, and I speak very openly to it because I know that there are many people outside who maybe experience the same stuff in a different intensity, and most people feel shame and maybe also guilt, and most people are driven by shame and guilt, and that's why we are not happy. And That's why I encourage people, okay, find somebody you trust where you can open up and talk about and get rid of it. Not suppress this by overeating, over porn consume, over drinking, over trucking, overworking out. Everything to do too much is an addiction. Yeah, even when you do sport, some people say, yeah, it's better to do a lot of sports than taking drugs. Yes, but it's still a distraction of what's inside you. Yeah? Whatever you're doing too much, there's a reason why you're doing it. So that's how we work. I work very holistic with the guys.
Well, the process is definitely working because you've been doing it for a long time. We are showing our audience, especially for the people in the podcast platforms like Spotify, YouTube, and others, your website. Tell us about your website and the best way for people to get in touch with you, please.
Yeah, it's a funny story with the website. I never had a website. A friend of mine, you had to have a website. I never had it because my business, my core business, I had many years, almost 3 decades in consulting and facilitating trainings worldwide for big tech companies. I never had to find a client. They always came to me. So I had a website, even if they haven't had a business site, and then a business card. And then I started to have a website. And you know, Dr. Jacalyn, I'm working with men and working for the environment. And I'm in health. I'm in coaching people. I'm working in businesses and different things. I had a yoga retreat center in Mallorca for many years and stuff like that. So at the end, I had 7 websites with different topics. And then the agency came to me and said, hey, Roland, let's do one and call it Roland-friedl, because I never wanted to have my name in front of it, because I always said it's not about me. It's all about the other people. I want to support them. It's not about me. They said, no, you have to go. We have to find we have to make a roof or a cover of all the other topics you're doing. I said, okay, let's do a website with your name, and then we bring the 3 main pillars of the work you're doing on your website. This is the business side where you, when you scroll down, you find it goes up or down. I don't know. I haven't been a long time on website for myself, and then you find I get it's going up. And then you find a button where you click on SPS. This is Partner Performance System. So those who are interested in my business context, how I work with large companies, SPS is Partner Performance System. This is that you get linked to my business website. Wildlife Life Rocks is my website where I bring this business back right now at the moment, so I'm really working hard on this. I mentor. I call myself a mentor. I mentor people who want to also combine work and traveling. This is Wildlife Life Rocks, and Sparing for Men is the site where I focus on men, on the men's work. And then there are other websites like Respect Mother Earth, where I do my foundation is working and stuff like that. But we only brought these 3 things on the website. Yeah. But I get the agency had more fun. The agency had more fun working on that than me.
Well, it's a very dynamic website, and I love the colors as well. So your website is your name, roland-friedl.com, and I'll spell that for people listening on a podcast platform. It's ROLANDFRIEDL.com. Yes. Roland, an absolute pleasure. Thank you. I know how valuable your time is. I appreciate you coming here and sharing your education and knowledge with us. We look forward to seeing you again next week, next Tuesday, same time, same station. So go follow us, subscribe to our channels, USA Global TV and Radio, and also Dr. Jacalyn-Kerbeck.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's always an honor and a pleasure to be part of the USA Global TV and Radio family. And I want to also thank you, Dr. Jacalyn, that you do this amazing work to make this possible, to build up this platform and give myself and many other colleagues who do an amazing job to share their wisdom and their experience and their knowledge with the broader audience. Thanks for that.
Well, thank you. It's an absolute pleasure. We've taken this journey together for several years now. So
yeah, and thanks to our viewers and subscribers, and please share and care. I know we have more than 1 million. I saw some viewers. It's incredible how the channel is working, the broadcast system is working. So please share, care, subscribe, and recommend us. Thanks a lot to our audience.
Thank you. Thanks, Roland. Thanks, everyone. See you soon. We'll be back with the Listening Mentor and Caroline Heward next. Bye for now.
Bye.